Hi, I'm Abby with Virginia Tech's Physical Activity Research and Community Implementation Lab. Thanks so much for being here. Today we're going to talk about cueing. So first, what do we mean by cueing? What are we trying to do when we cue someone in a physical activity class? All we're trying to do is support someone. Support their safety, support their growth, support their individual experience just as they came that day, that time. So you're just supporting people. I think that helps to remember that you're not cueing an exercise, you're cueing a person. The person always comes first. If you remember that, it'll help you stay a little bit more natural in your cueing. So a few tips for cueing. First, keep it simple. Two ways you can keep it simple. The first is use if-then statements. If you feel wobbly, then use the back of a chair for balance. So what is an if-then statement? You say if plus a description of what someone might be experiencing, thinking, or feeling. Then you offer them a strategy or a choice or something they can choose to do based on that feeling. So the example I gave was if you feel wobbly, then use the back of a chair for balance. So it's if plus a description of what someone might be experiencing, then plus a choice or strategy that person can use. The second way you can keep your cues simple is to use verb plus body part plus where, how. So an example would be extend your left arm to the ceiling. Reach your left foot backwards 6 inches. So you just choose a specific verb with a specific body part, then how or where you want that person to move that part of their body. So those are two ways you can keep cues simple. If-then statements and verb, body part, where, how. Another thing to remember when cueing is to try to keep your feedback a ratio of 2 positives to 1 corrective. So it's this ratio of 2 to 3. So what do I mean by 2 positives? Positives can be praise, so praise for technique, like fantastic job, Jill, keeping your elbows close to your ribs. Praise can be energetic or effort, something like, wow, Bill, you are so focused on keeping your thumbs all the way toward your shoulders. So you're being specific with the praise, and it can be technique or energy, effort, whatever you see there in the moment. Another example of positive feedback are non-exercise interactions. So maybe you're telling a joke. Maybe you're mentioning a song. Maybe you're asking someone a question about their dog or whatnot. But that's actually an important part of exercise classes too. And that goes back to remembering you're not cueing an exercise, you're supporting a person. So something positive is to have a tiny bits of conversations. It's not a full conversation. It's just something when you are reminding both you and the person you work with that they're a person. It's not just about the exercise. Another example of positive feedback are these sort of energy, mood boosting things you might say like, wow, I can totally feel the energy pulsing in this room. Let's keep it going. That's positive feedback. Then with that 2 to 3 ratio, the corrective feedback is anything you say that is challenging someone, asking them to move differently, asking them to think differently, asking them to just try something new. It can even be teaching oriented when you're going to be teaching a new exercise, teaching a new technique. I put that in corrective because it's a little bit of more of an emotional cognitive load for the people you're coaching. Like right when you get feedback, you have that up mood and you feel awesome. When you have something that you're learning or there's something corrective, it's just slightly different. It's just a little bit of a challenge. So you're going to keep that 2 to 3 ratio of positive to corrective, or you can think of corrective as a challenge. A final bit of cueing is to be specific. The more specific you are, the clear idea the person that you're cueing will have of how to either adjust what they're doing or to reinforce what they're doing correctly. Another benefit of being specific is that if I say, something like, Pam, wow, you're doing an amazing job keeping your knees pointed over your second toes. So first I've given her specific praise, but second, the whole room may have heard that. And by hearing, note your knees pointed over your second toes, people might automatically adjust their own technique. So instead of having to go person to person to correct something, you've noticed one person doing it right, so you're going to emphasize that in a way to the, in a verbal way that the person gets the praise, they know what they're doing correctly, and other people also get a clear idea of how the exercise could be performed. So those are just a few ways to cue to support someone through their physical activity class. So first we had keep it simple by using if-then statements or verb, body part, where, how. Second, we had that 2 to 3 ratio of positives to corrective and challenge. Then we had keep it specific. I hope this has helped, and I hope you really enjoy teaching and cueing your class. Take good care.